Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Realacc Pro Plus Diversity module. Now, I have been talking about this in my previous reviews of copters because I've been using it a little while. I thought I wanted to try it out before I gave it a fair review, and the short story is I really like it. So I have been using the Holy Bro hook here, diversity system. However, it's not been very convenient for me just because where I fly. I think it's a very good system, but this one is better for me, and that is mainly because both of the receiver antennas are on the same side. So obviously this is for fitting Fatsharks, so if you are not a Fatshark user, then my apologies, because this is mainly for Fatshark goggles. But the Holy Bro hook here, it had one receiver here and one receiver there, and using the two antennas that I use meant that they were pointing off in different directions, and the field that I fly in, I mainly fly in this corner, so I get a much better result with these modules where the antenna is facing in the same direction for both of them. Yeah, I can kind of use this little bracket here on this antenna and get it to face that way, but I could never quite get decent results out of it compared to this, which I'm getting really good results out of. So this is the Pro Plus version, so yeah, it's a slightly different version. It's got some upgrades. So in this review I'm just going to be checking out the stock firmware, but there is some great firmware out there. I think Achilles is probably the most popular firmware, but on the original module you had little solder pads here for a FTDI adapter for updating the firmware. This time we've got a USB connector, which is really good. Other than that, there's not really a lot of differences. This one's lighter. I think it weighs just 25 grams, but it doesn't really make much of a difference here. But you can see we've got a infrared LED here, and there's not really much information about it. They're saying that it can control the VTX, but it also says that it's sort of reserved. And yeah, I think the idea is that eventually with a particular firmware, maybe we can talk to our VTX with this, I don't know, or maybe use a remote. I really don't know, but I can't find any information regarding it at the moment, so yeah, I don't think I'm going to be using it. Now, Banggood sent me this for review, and they sent it without the case, which is a bit of a pain because this fits into the goggles like so, and it just sort of flops about. So if you're interested in this, then I would order it with the case. Now, I ordered my case separately and it turned up broke. I was absolutely gutted, so yeah, I'm gonna have to complain about that. But it's just like I don't think it's 3D printed. It looks like it. No, actually, I think it is 3D printed. It's just a very good quality. Anyways, luckily there is a STL file on Thingiverse, so I was able to print that off. It's actually a little bit bigger, and it gives you access to the USB ports there. However, once this is clicked into place, you can't get to it anyways, so yeah, not really that useful. But there's some nice carbon fiber style ones of these that have been released. A bit more expensive, but I really like this, so I might go for that. So as I say, I'm just going to be using the stock firmware in this review, but I am definitely going to upgrade it. But I found that the stock firmware, it's plenty usable. I've been getting great results out of it. One thing that you can do with the upgraded Achilles firmware is you can fine-tune the channel that it lands on, because, you know, even though VTXs are divided into channels, it might be the case that they are a couple of megahertz different and stronger in either direction, so you can do that with the upgraded firmware. So yeah, I'm gonna try that, but for this video I think to give it a fair review I need to try out the stock firmware. You can get it in RPSMA or SMA versions, which is nice, and this is the SMA version just to match the antennas that I have got with me today. Okay, so I've got everything connected up here and you can see that it is fitting really snug. I've got a Onway cloverleaf antenna here, and then I've got my Invader Menace patch antenna, and this is for use with a copter that has got a cloverleaf antenna, because both of these are circularly polarized, and the idea is that this one is going to be better when the copter is further away from me, and this one better when it's close in. So one thing that I found that is really good about this system is that it really makes a difference with these models that have whip antennas. If you use this Bandicoot linear antenna in conjunction with it, I've been doing that a lot recently, but of course with this being a quadcopter that's got a cloverleaf antenna, then I want this Invader one on here. So I've actually got my copter turned on, so I'm just going to plug it in here and it should boot up. So of course you need to make sure that the RX is turned on underneath here as well. So we have this little rocker here, and it's also a button as well, and I've set this up so that it lands on this copter's frequency as soon as it turns on. Out of the box it was set up to do an auto scan, so you can see there auto search, which means that regardless of your copter's frequency it's gonna do an auto search each time, which is fine if you don't know the frequency of your copter, but I do, so I've saved it. And the way that you do that is you go into manual mode, select the frequency that it is, and then do a long press on it, and then it will boot up every time on that frequency. And if you don't do that, it will boot up in any other mode. So you can actually get it to boot up on the band scanner if you want. But the auto search, what it does is it finds the next channel that has a picture. So if I go into the auto search there, you can see it's gone to 5745 there, and it's just finding all of the ghost channels until it finds the next one, and then I can just keep going along there until it lands back on the right frequency. This is kind of good if you've got a few of you flying and you want to switch out to different models, etc. I should say the first thing that you should do with this module is calibrate the RSSI, and the way that you do that is you go into the setup menu and we've got calibrate RSSI there, and the way that you do that, it's recommended that you use a copter with a 25 milliwatt VTX, and then you take both of the antennas off, and the reason for that is each one of these antennas has a different dBi. So we want the receiver modules to be balanced, so we remove the antennas here, and you can have the copter fairly close if you're using 25 milliwatt. However, they say if you're using, say, a 600 milliwatt transmitter, then you're going to want to stand about a meter away when you calibrate it. Anyways, I've already done that and I've saved it as well, and then you can use things like the band scanner, and it's much more accurate once you've calibrated it. So we've got diversity options as well, so I've got it set to auto. And by the way, the screen's flickering here, and that is just the shutter speed of the camera. It doesn't flicker like that in person, but yeah, you can select each individual receiver if you want, but of course we want diversity here, so I've put it on auto. And then in the setup menu we can change the order via channel or frequency. You can have the beeps on or off, which I've got on at the moment, but I might turn that off. We've got call sign, which I've changed to AndyRC, and then we've got the save and exit option there again. Yeah, fairly straightforward. I really like it. And you can see that we've also got these LEDs which shine through this cover here as well, and that tells you which antenna is in use, but of course it also tells you that on the main screen as well. So yeah, one thing that I found annoying about the manual mode is that it beeps when it's not on the right frequency. So yeah, I might turn that beeper off actually. But yeah, I really like this system, I have to say. It's now my daily system that I'm going to be using for all of my reviews. The only thing that's going to change, of course, is which antenna that I use depending on the model. And yeah, I really like it. I'll put a link in the description if you wish to get one. And I'm going to leave you with a flight done with this copter. And if you're wondering why the colors are so vivid, it's because I am using the CMOS RunCam camera here. It's the Eagle 2 Pro version, and yeah, I really like that as well. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.
God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business so humongous, you would think that happens in there. Oh man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that. Looking for that whip, yeah, that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have him yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like, whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah, they saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of haters, tell me where they at though. I'm the new pop, all I do is rap though. Want me on your song, throw a couple stacks, yo. Woo! Everybody wanna do the same thing. That's why we ain't on the same page. Do my own thing and I maintain. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah, I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah. I'm going mainstream. Damn. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. water, so I'm going mainstream.